Yo, Pokemon Masters, PokePatrol here, and okay, you've caught me. Green screen does not work with my hair at all. I'm not even at home right now. I'm at Liam's place. Hey,
hello, children.
don't come onto my channel and start with hello, children. So, hey, Pokemon Masters, PokePatrol here. Joining me today, of course, is Ace Trainer Liam. I am over at Liam's place. We have just recorded a Siri battle.
It is a Siri battle.
It's a series you usually do with Sophie,
yes.
Your lovely girlfriend, on your channel. My girlfriend and his girlfriend are also working on a video right now. So if that's
Doom
out,
stars.
that will be linked down below, as well as the Siri battle, which, if you want to see me doing some battling for once, I recommend.
He's actually quite good.
Surprisingly. So
we've been working together for about 5 years.
We have both been doing YouTube for about 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Starting in January of 2015, right?
Yes, I just did a recap video.
You did,
of my first
and I
5
saw
years.
it, and I thought, we're in a room together. This would be a really good opportunity to do a video. Maybe we could, pass on our knowledge of 5 years of YouTube and all that. But then I thought no one's going to watch that because it doesn't have Sword and Shield in the title.
Trust me, no one's going to watch that.
So instead, we're going to talk about new Galarian forms and a whole bunch of Sword and Shield stuff. The opportunity here is, of course, that I like doing Pokemon theory. I like investigating Pokemon lore. You are a bit of an expert on forms, right?
I claim to be.
Yeah, you've got a whole series called Form Fight, which, as you can see here, everything is being done and covered.
Plug everything on my channel, please.
And obviously, to be topical, you've just done one about Slowpoke and Galarian Slowpoke.
I have.
I assume when the DLCs come out, there'll be the legendary
Oh,
birds.
yes. And there'll be, obviously, Galarian Slow King and Slow Bro.
So
reverse order.
You did a form fight where it's the evolution. So did you Slowbro versus Slowking?
I've done Slowbro versus Slowking, and I've done Slowbro versus Mega Slowbro.
So I'm assuming you're going to do Galarian Slowbro versus Galarian Slowking, and then them versus themselves?
Please do not give me Galarian Mega Slowbro.
Because
I'll just die.
To it. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about is, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, is talk about regional variants, which obviously started off in Sun and Moon, which was our first sort of generation here on YouTube.
Oh, it was great.
And we talked a lot about that during the Elite Four podcast, which we did. We haven't actually done a video properly together since the month after Sun and Moon was announced, which is nuts.
That's insane.
But I did want to kind of look back over them, and there's this kind of lore aspect to regional variants that you assume that the regional variant came after the original. However, there are some, and I reckon there's at least 5, where it's almost a guarantee that it's the other way around.
Yes,
that the regional variant is
Executor.
This is what
I'm jumping the gun.
We
sorry.
can start with Executor. I just wanted to run down the list and work out which ones do you think. Which ones do you think it was where the new variant was the original? Which ones do you think it's a guarantee that it's not the original? And are there any that are like ambiguous and we don't know?
Sounds good.
Just discuss a little bit of lore and that kind of thing. I thought it'd be kind of fun. So yeah, let's start with Alolan Executor, which is arguably the poster child for regional variants. You reckon it's the way around it is
the 35-foot tall one is the original.
Why do you say that? In the world of Pokemon,
I'm pretty sure it says it in the Pokedex.
Yeah, I think there's the people in the Pokedex they argue that it's how Executor should look.
Yes, it's the true look of Executor, whereas like I imagine the Cantonian version is stunted somewhat. Yeah,
there's this kind of little theory of mine that, because obviously in Alola, Executor is a dragon type. In Kanto, it is not. It's a psychic type. And dragon types don't seem to do too well in Kanto. There's not many of them.
True.
And the only place that you really find Execute and Executor is in the Safari Zone. Kind of like they're trying to be preserved, but there's just not the sunlight.
So maybe things like Dragonite are wiping out the Executor population.
Possibly.
Because, I mean, Dragonite has 2 type advantages over Executor.
Yeah, right.
Basically.
So they've just not done well. Dragons don't do well in Kanto. And yeah, I think it can be argued that Alolan Executor is probably the original. Also, it was on some jungle box art for the Pokemon cards.
It was, yeah.
Really weird,
that's going back a bit. Jungle and
back
Fossil.
In the day.
Oof.
Let's have a look at
Sorry, I've begun. It's completely thrown you. I love it.
Alolan Raticate and Alolan Rattata, which order do they go round?
Rattata was a problem in Alola, and Yungoos were imported to get rid of the Rattata problem. Now, does that mean that Rattata were brought over originally? That's why they're the problem, because they were imported into Alola originally by accident.
You're close. I think it's a case of Rattata were a problem, so then Yungoos came over to combat them, but Yungoos only really appear in the daytime, and I think that's something to do with it. And then Alolan Rattata and Raticate were then kind of adapted
and
to
come out
Yungoos.
at night.
And that's why. So yeah, it's actually the original Rattata is the original, and the Alolan forms are after.
I'm with you.
Sandshrew and Sandslash.
Ooh, I want to say the Kanto form is the original and that they've adapted in Alola.
I would argue that's probably the case. We don't know either way, but given that it's called Sandshrew...
Yeah, I mean, that's a little
feel
on the
like
nose,
the
isn't
Kanto
it?
one is probably the original.
Didn't even think of that, to be honest.
Honestly, me neither until just this moment, but actually that would make sense.
That makes complete sense.
Okay, Alolan Raichu.
Cantonian Raichu is the original.
Yeah.
Alolan Raichu has just been exposed to fluffy pancakes.
Yeah, or
somehow
something
that makes
like that.
you psychic.
No one knows why it's happened, but the point is it's happened, so it's transformed that way.
Yeah, it's very much not considered a reversal. Like, it's not like it goes to Kanto and suddenly goes, oh, there's no pancakes here.
Yeah,
so
we
lose my psychic type.
Regular Vulpix and Ninetales.
Oh, I want to say that Alolan, Vulpix, and Ninetales are the true forms.
Interesting.
And then through the warmer conditions in the other places that they've been to, because they live in the cold mountains of Alola.
Do you have any reason to think that it's that way around?
Because fire melts ice.
Because fire melts ice.
That's all.
So, I am actually inclined to agree that it is that way round, but there's a story that the people of the Alola region used to call Vulpix Kio back in the day, and that kind of implies that they've been around for a long, long, long time. Of course. The ancients used to know it by a different name, so it's not confirmed, but I would argue that it's possible that Alolan Vulpix is, in fact, the original.
So, the Alolan Vulpix was the original, called Kio, and then basically Samson Oak came along and went, that's a Vulpix.
Yeah, basically. Galarian Meowth. No, sorry, not Galarian Meowth. Alolan Meowth first.
Alolan Meowth. Oh, you see, this is difficult because of the Galarian aspect.
There's multiple.
Galarian throws a spanner in the works.
Okay, well, let's do all of the Meowth then. We've got Galarian, Kantoian, and Alolan
I think Galarian is the true.
Okay.
And that's purely because it seems to be based on the most historical version, because it's 9th century Viking. I feel like that. I feel like they've been in Galar for a long time, although I guess you could argue that maybe Meowth could be sent... even further back.
I want to keep going. I'm loving this. This is great.
I think Alolan Meowth is the most recent. I think that's the most adapted to a different region.
We are literally on the same way of thinking. I am agreed 100% on all that. And my reasoning for... And I think there's Pokedex entries talking about why Alolan Meowth looks the way it does in Alola. Okay. And so that makes sense that it would be the newest one. But the reason I think Galarian Meowth is the oldest, as well as it looking like a Viking, which makes sense.
As the longest beard.
It's a steel type, right? And Meowth has this weird natural biological ability to use a move called Payday, which is firing bits of metal off of its head.
That's fair.
Now, wouldn't it make sense?
That's a very good point.
If the original was a steel type.
And it was firing off steel coins.
Little shards. That makes sense to me. And so that was kind of my thinking, but I like the idea of it being a Viking. How about Alolan Golem?
Oh, I want to say Alolan Golem is the adapted one, and that Kanto is the original.
So I'm going to argue the other way on, but why do you have any reason?
My argument is more that basically, even though it's immune to electricity, being in a more electrified magnetic area in Alola, maybe it's adapted and just maybe some galvanization, that's a word that you like to use, maybe some galvanization.
So there's some Tesla coil and there's electrified
I'm really scared that I'm just looking very stupid in this video.
I mean, we're debating the origins of Pokemon, it's fine. I think we're okay.
I'm a 31-year-old man who talks about Pokemon for a living. I already look stupid.
We're all good here.
We Gucci.
And, next to my hair, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking when it comes to Golem, and there's no way to know for sure, but my thinking is that Pokemon like Golem and other rock-bodied Pokemon probably came from space, like Lunatone, Solar Rock, Minior, and
space is electric.
There's another space Pokemon, Magnezone, which is based off of a UFO, which you can find in the area in Alola where you would catch Alolan Geodude. And my thing is, with it being a giant magnet and with Golem having a giant magnet-like thing on it, that maybe that it was like Magnezone is a close relative to Alolan.
Wait, can we animate this? Can we animate a Magnezone with a Alolan Golem just magnetized to it?
Drops it off like
each individually landing. Oh, and then that's how the invasion happened. And they were driven by Clefairy.
Yeah, and then living on Earth, it doesn't need the magnet anymore. So, not quite that cartoony. But I now love the idea.
Oh my god.
Alolan Muck and Grimer.
Kanto's the original because they've adapted to the food sources that they get in Alola.
And that somehow makes them this really gross colour.
No, they're amazing. They're my favourite poison type. I absolutely love Do you know what's the worst part? Is I think I did a list recently of like favorite dark types or favorite poison types, and I just forgot that Muck existed.
So
even though it's my favorite,
stole a video of you last year because it did really well.
What's new?
You did a video about your favorite Pokemon of each type and your least favorite of each type, and you mentioned Alola,
which I in turn
Grimer.
stole off to Mashiroka.
Well, there you go. And you mentioned Alola, Grimer, and Muck as your favorite dark types. Or poison types. And I mentioned them as my least favourite, and I don't get it. We'll just never agree on that.
I absolutely love them. Part of it is from using Alola Muck in battle, though, because it's got gluttony and recycle. So I'm just getting berries back constantly, and everyone's like, ah!
Let's talk about the last Alolan form, which is Marowak.
Marowak is dead in Alola. That's how it's the... Even though it does the tribal dance, I feel like it just learned that from Kiawe.
Right.
All of them.
So you think the ghost from Kanto,
made its way to Alola? Ghosts can get on boats, right?
Yeah.
I've watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
I've put it down as like a nil. It could be either. I have no idea. But
it's just a coincidence that they look the same.
To me, it makes sense that they would do a ghost type Marowak because of the Lavender Town stuff. But yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. Now we're on to Galar. We've done Meow, so Galarian, Ponyta, and Rapidash.
I think the original is the Galarian form.
Okay.
And I think that's because it's got that kind of mystical rarity to it. Hey, rarity, that's a My Little Pony joke.
You did that. Never again.
Never again. I'm so sorry. This is why I haven't done it on my channel.
Okay, so you think the Ponyta because it's like...
Just because it seems to be more like the stuff of kind of legend and like almost a legendary without being actually classified or having the base stats of a legendary. And therefore, when it went to Kanto, just something happened. Something went wrong.
Something went wrong.
I mean, how do you go from being either a burning pony to a non-burning pony and vice versa?
I think it might be the other way around canonically. I don't know. If there's a Pokedex entry to support me, it's here. If not, I'm just pointing to my shirt.
Maybe remaining spiritual energy from when it was a fairy and psychic type has remained, and that's why it's able to live whilst constantly on fire.
Maybe. I think the idea is that, obviously Ponyta they're not very good runners when they're immediately born, but according to the Pokedex, they have to run very quickly to keep up with their parents, and Rapidash run very fast. And living in the forest, they've gained psychic powers because they don't have as much place to run. Wait, I can't...
A lot of people really like Ponyta and would like one as a pet, but all I'm saying is I bet they stink.
Yes.
I bet they smell really bad. Horses
the Galarian
do
one
not
probably
smell
smells
good.
Nice.
Yeah, do you know what? It probably smells like marshmallows and
farts, rainbow dust.
sherbet.
Okay, how about the all-new Galarian Slowpoke just revealed?
I want to say regular Slowpoke, and the Galarian Slowpoke is basically Slowpoke reaching another level of Zen.
Yeah, I think there's... Isn't there something in its description on the site about how it's kind of been exposed to something and that's why...
Yeah.
So yeah, Slowpoke is probably the
Lost
original
its water
Slowpoke.
typing though.
Yeah, interestingly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find it looks really wrong because you can't see its tail. So it always looks like it doesn't have a tail.
Someone pointed out that when it's in its shiny form, it looks like Homer Simpson. And I can't unsee it.
And that will be on screen already, and now you can't unsee it. What about Galarian Farfetch'd?
Galarian Farfetch'd is the adapted form because it's the one that's going through a lot of tough battles and it's grizzled and it's kind of old looking. And then it becomes Surfetch'd because it's been in so many battles and got so many good victories and stuff. I can't see a reason for it to be the other way around.
I have it written down as one of those ones that could be either, so that makes sense.
With the Galarian forms that have an extra evolution, I feel like the ones that have the extra evolution kind of have to be the newer versions because why would they adapt to not evolve? And to have lower base stats. That makes sense,
and that kind of leads us into the next one, which is Galarian Zigzagoon, which I think is confirmed to be the original Zigzagoon, right?
The Galarian? I thought the Hoenn version was the original.
No, the Galarian version is the original, right? So
which is weird.
It's evolved into Obstagoon based on kind of the pressures around it, and because of that, it has to do really intense fighting.
And in Hoenn, there's no pressure.
And in Hoenn, there isn't that kind of pressure to fight, and so that's why it's kind of become this cuddly, less.
Which is weird because it shares a habitat with Mightyena.
I know, which you would think would keep it going. But yeah, no, apparently, according to the Pokemon website at the time, maybe even the Pokedex, Zigzagoon of Galar is believed to be the original. So there you go. Well, if you didn't know that? Well, you learnt that's the point of the video.
Screw me then.
Weezing
has adapted in Galar because it's the difference in the pollution that it takes in, and then it's able to purify it. And
that is very much
basically the same as Muck.
We've got that one, and Corsola or Cursula.
Cursula is basically dead Corsola.
Yeah, so it's not the original.
Yeah, let's
same
face
deal.
it.
So maybe that makes sense for the Marowak thing as well. Maybe you can go back and say, okay, retroactively then. Alola Marowak is not the original.
Yeah, I feel like the Corsola in Galar aren't adapted. I think they failed to adapt, and that's why
kind of why we now have this. Darumaka.
Oh,
and I have no idea quite.
I don't know.
But doesn't the Zen mode of Galarian Darmanitan have fire coming out of its nose?
Well, it's an ice and fire type.
Oh, it is fire type.
So
okay.
maybe it evolved to be a pure fire type, like adapted in other conditions, because it's quite fragile when it's the ice and fire type.
Right, and it's warmer in like the desert resort where you catch it.
Yeah,
so that could kind of make sense.
It sounds like
Okay.
But then you could argue the other way around. It's in the desert, and then when it goes to Galar, it's in the snowy mountains.
It freezes up, so maybe. I don't know.
But as I said earlier, ice melts.
Ice does melt.
So, theory.
Let us know in the comments what you're thinking. Okay, so this is another one with the new evolution, which is Yamask, Galarian Yamask. So you reckon that's the adapted one into Runegus, and that Cofagrigus is the original?
Yeah, Runeregus.
Runeregus?
Wait, is it Rune...
Don't ask me. Pronunciations are not my thing.
Runeregus.
Okay, so maybe, I mean, you could argue sarcophaguses are older... Sarcophagi are older than Runei. They're just runes. Maybe they're older than runes?
This is one of my best friends.
Unlucky. So look, could you argue?
I think the problem is we're trying too hard to pertain it to like real world. So because I don't obviously the ancient Egyptians in the Pokemon world probably weren't a thing.
Right.
We've never seen pyramids in the Pokemon world, so I think it's just a coincidence that it looks like that.
This is the Pyramid King brand. That's probably not a real pyramid.
I just think Cofagrigus has to be the original. I don't know why. I just feel like Cofagrigus came along, got trapped in the rune, and became Runeregus.
There was no death masks for whatever was to become a Yamask in Galar. And so
although I guess Runeregus is like an ancient wall painting, but then it's hard. Comments
again. That's another comments one. And then there's two more left. The first one is Stunfisk.
Stunfisk. I wanna say. I think the original version, the Unova version, is the original.
I agree.
And I think that in Galar, perhaps people started using them as traps.
Okay.
And eventually they adapted to become that bear trap because it was easier to trap things if you had those steel
I feel like the
claws.
The Unova version is more like biological in nature because this one's obviously a steel type, and I do wonder if maybe it's adapted.
Or maybe it's been adapted. Like maybe it's been
selectively
manipulated.
kind of bred to do that. Yeah, maybe. Okay, and the final one we have no way of really knowing is the legendary birds Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, which obviously have multiple forms. They have the new Galar forms in the Crown Tundra versus the Kanto versions. What do you reckon?
I'm thinking about Mr. Mime.
Poor Mr. Mime.
Poor Mr. Mime. Tap dancing his way across the Galar region.
We didn't have to talk about
with his daddy,
Mime.
Mr. Rhyme. Do you love how I waited for you to do that entire spiel?
We don't have to talk about Mr.
We do.
Mime.
I think the Galar version is the adapted version, and I think it's adapted because it's gone, hey, Jinx doesn't exist anymore and should never have existed, so I'll just take its typing.
It also makes sense because you can evolve a regular Mime Jr. into
a Galarian Mr. Mime. So it shows a direct adaptation. There's no Galarian Mime Jr. There's no baby Galarian Mr. Mime.
In fact, it's the only Pokemon that once Pokemon Home comes out, you can get like a Mr. Rhyme that originates from like Sinnoh. Because you could transfer that up and that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that'll be important in a future video.
Do that.
I'll go. Okay, legendary birds.
Are you certain we haven't missed any others?
Yes. Stop it. Right, we're going for the legendary birds now.
Wait, you might have done.
No, I haven't.
Hang on.
No, I haven't.
Hang on.
Why are you like this? Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, how are we feeling?
Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno are they're not the originals.
You don't think they're the originals?
The originals are 25 years old. These ones are garbage. No,
okay.
They're not. They're really nice.
They look so much better than the originals.
Much better. They do.
I'm a big fan.
One of them looks like a chocobo. I think it's Zapdos.
We don't really have a lot of reason to know either way, actually.
Well, no, because we have no lore yet.
We don't. We do know that the Crown Tundra is a much... there's all these ancient ruins and stuff, and Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno, you find them roaming, you find them in caves. You don't really, in a power plant. Actually, the Crown Tundra might be the oldest location, and so there is an argument to be made, given that they do roam and travel the rest of the world, that maybe they could be the ancestor. Like, this could be a more what Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno would originally look like.
Or you could argue that as it's a very ancient and spiritual place, that this is the place that maybe Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos migrate to.
Maybe.
and then they adapt and change there because they stay there, and that's more of a place that they go.
I liked my argument better.
I liked your argument better, but I tried.
It remains to be seen. Well, thank you. It's nice to have your expertise doing, we're talking about Pokemon.
My what?
Your expertise to do with forms.
Oh, you didn't pronounce it wrong. I just meant it's something that doesn't exist.
Oh,
you thought that I was being mean. That's nothing like me. I'm a blessing.
You're lovely, and everyone should go and check out the video that we did over on your channel, which is the
Siri battle,
which hopefully will be live at the same time.
Versus Birdkeeper Toby.
Check it out. If you leave a like, if you leave a comment, obviously it helps more people find my videos, which I'm a fan of, and hopefully they will be too.
I've commented on this video.
It's the one down there that you should definitely not read because it's probably said something really rude.
I would never on your videos.
Thank you for watching, everyone, and of course, so hi, Pokemon Masters.
Keep on training. That's a better phrase.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
And a massive thank you to those of you supporting me on Patreon, including the big patrons of the month, the Nerd Therapist and Gunnar Clovis. Thank you.